Small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria may soon get a boost, and that's going by assurances from the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Addressing the Presidential Task Force on Agriculture, Commodity and Production during a fact-finding mission in Ogun State, Mr. Emefiele disclosed that the CBN would ease access to funds by the SMEs in the country to accelerate its development.
This is the Presidential Task Force on Agricultural Commodity and Production. We are here in Ogun State on a fact-finding mission on the performance of SMEs in the agricultural sector. Led by its chairman, Mr. Abubakar Bangudu, the team is conducted round some of the farms in Ogun State. From Ijebu-Ode to Kotoko Greenhouse Farm in Abeokuta, the state capital. That done, the farmers lay bare their demands to the team.
The problem really here is the lack of infrastructure, electricity, road network, and the issue of donable funds. We need funds for our people, particularly for the feed mill. We want the expansion of the feed mill, and we want to involve ourselves in the export of fish.
Host Governor Senator Ibikunle Amosun wants financial inclusion for the agricultural cooperatives in the state.
You know that if they get help, there's nothing stopping them from even achieving over 100 billion on a yearly basis. And it's not just the money, it is the number of people that will be working. We'll be creating wealth, and our economy will blossom if we continue to do things like this.
The CBN governor addresses the farmers' concerns, promising more funding for the sector, with huge opportunities for growth.
The money is available. It's just for us to streamline the logistics and mechanisms for you to draw this facility. I'm aware that we have about 3,000 ponds here, each harboring close to 5,000 to 6,000 fish. I'm delighted that you have close to how many stakeholders? I hear almost about over 2,000 stakeholders. This is a well-organized system, and you do deserve funding from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
And if the findings of the task force and their recommendations are implemented, the agricultural sector may soon enjoy a boom.
Let's take a look at some business news for the day. Here's Melinda Akinlami.
Welcome to Business News. The Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano, has presented the 2017 fiscal year estimated budget to the State House of Assembly. The Governor presented 115.5 billion naira in the budget titled Budget for Economic Recovery and Inclusive Growth. He says the primary focus of the budget is developing the state's economy and building a foundation for a future that all indigents can be proud of.
Construction and rehabilitation at 24 billion will account for a significant proportion of the planned capital expenditure of 2017 and will be focused on the completion of ongoing road contracts awarded by last and current administrations in line with our continuity promise to the Anambra and our economic blueprint. Agriculture and related sectors. In agriculture, we are aiming to become a top 3 producer of rice, maize, and cassava in Nigeria. To achieve this, we have increased our budgetary allocation to agriculture by 500% to 5.4 billion compared to 2016. We are making strategic investments to improve rice production in Anambra State to ensure that we reach and surpass local consumption capacity of 320,000 metric tons.
Governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano. As reactions continue to trail the comments of the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Muhammadu II, some critics are emphasizing his position that the foreign exchange market lacks credibility. And one of such critics is the president of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Professor Segun Ajibola, who gave his reactions during a visit to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. In an interview with our business correspondent, Tempo Ashaju, he says Nigeria must reduce its currency risk exposure to manage the demand.
Comments coming from frontline individuals and personalities in the economy. He's saying the obvious. But what is not obvious is, what do we do? It's not regulators' issue, it's not operators' issue, even the users. What of the exporters? What do they do with the export process? What of the importers? Those we still have problem of capital flight, of invoicing. So it's a whole lot. The journey to stardom will start when, first of all, we move away from overexposure, over-reliance on imported items, even for our basic consumption. So if the need is tamed, we will be able to manage demand management in the face of supply rigidities, and be able to restore gradually sanity into the market. But if we overexposed, when you are overexposed, if you over-control, black marketeering will result.
The NSE All Share Index turned negative today, with losses across consumer and industrial goods stocks outweighing gains in other key sectors. Here's Millicent Walker with the summary.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian equities market returned to negative ways on Tuesday, despite gains by oil majors Total and Forte Oil. At the end of the day session, 28 basis points was shaved off market capitalization, and the all-share index, which closed at 8.83 trillion naira and 25,671.23 respectively. Now, total volume came in slightly higher from Monday's trading day at 189.41 million units, valued at 2.49 billion naira and exchanged in over 2,000 deals. Bank stocks were most actively traded, particularly Diamond Bank, FCMB and Guaranty Trust Bank. The top three gainers in percentage terms are Total, Forte Oil and Portland Paints, while the top three laggards are Diamond Bank, Guinness Nigeria and Caviton. Well, that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Millicent Walker.
Thank you so much, Millicent. Africa's leading broadcaster, Channels Television, is scheduled to close trading at the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Wednesday, December the 7th. Channels Television began the daily reportage of the domestic stock market and the entire financial markets in April 1996, just about a year after the broadcaster started operations. The closing gong will be sounded by the chairman of the Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo, and it will be broadcast live on all our platforms. Stocks across the world advanced slightly on their bullish momentum today as investors wait for Federal Reserve's and the European Central Bank's decision. Take a look at the numbers. And that's business news. Thank you so much for watching. It's back to you, Joma.
Now, dialogue and development can serve as tools which the Nigerian government can deploy to win the war against terror, and that's according to the Pakistani Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sohail Ahman. He says this approach should ensure insurgents are effectively weakened in the country's northeast region while development initiatives are being implemented. Our correspondent.
The Pakistani Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sohail Ahman, is on an official visit to Nigeria for a series of collaboration and exchange with Nigeria on security and defense. The National Defense College is taking advantage of this official visit to take a look at the Pakistan experience of over 15 years in their fight against terrorism and insurgency, to see lessons Nigeria may learn.
Countering insurgency and terrorism has become the focal issue of our security institutions. The lecture will help the college build its knowledge base on the effective use of air power to enhance counter-insurgency operations in our country.
Highlighting tactics the Pakistani defense has utilized over the years in their efforts to stamp out terrorists from the country, Air Marshal Aman says deterrence, dialogue and development are three steps that must go together.
First is deter, and the deterrence is through absolutely hard kill and making sure that you get rid of the bad guys. It needs intelligence, ISR, it needs human, it needs precision targeting day in, day out. But then when it comes to dialogue, the cultures of tribes are a lot different. And you have to understand those. Without really creating ripples in the culture, you have to make sure that the dialogue takes place. And that's the process which is on these days. And then development. You fight a war like that, and generally people wash their hand off and move away.
He says the terrorist tactics change regularly, and so must the strategies used to hunt them down, such as real-time intelligence, accurate surveillance, quick response, and precision strikes. Omelogo, Nadi Channels Television News.
Next on the news at 10, 2022 World Cup host Qatar allay fears over safety of football fans and consumption of alcohol. That'll be on sports. Please stay with us.